All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddie Live podcast. I am here with Billy Drummed, man. How you doing, brother?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, brother,
Eddie.
it's my pleasure. My pleasure, brother. When I had to do the deep dive and going through your career and going through all your stuff, holy, you've done a lot of stuff, man.
Well, I'm trying my best.
Dude, when someone says, "What do you do?" I mean, how you've done so much. How can you respond to that? If someone says, "What do you do?"
All right. At this moment, right now, I'm the CEO for Taiwan Fighting Sports.
Yep.
And we're running the very first professional boxing league here in Taiwan. It's called Carry Fighting Championship, which we so call CFC.
Yeah.
And our goal is actually to bring up the fighting sport scene here in Taiwan to make it more like popular to the general public, because we all know the combat sports, or say contact sports is to be honest, it's not a thing here in Taiwan.
100%.
Like it is growing but slowly, and we just want to see how we could like commercially or business wise to make it more popular to the general public, and make all of the fans like to be a life choice instead of just, this is something that wouldn't happen here in Taiwan. So this is what we are doing right now here in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But I'm actually from the music scene. Like I've been playing the band for like almost 2 decades and doing all kinds of like event planning or the concerts. Most of it for sound engineering.
Okay.
But then I did a lot of like music festivals, production coordinating, and as well as for esports game like League of Legends. Yeah. I've been the global stage manager for League of Legends for since I think it's 2018. Okay. So it's like for like almost 6 years. And now I think it's time to bring all of my production expertise into the professional sports to Taiwan right now. I think it's time to make people more to have more enthusiasm to come to when it comes to combat sports here in Taiwan. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And first of all, I've been to a few of the CFC events, right? Fantastic. I got to do the English, obviously, for the last one, which was amazing. Great fun experience as well. I love that. But let's go a little bit back to the beginning, right? Because I've been in Taiwan for a long time. I have, obviously, a lot of foreign friends. I have a lot of Taiwanese friends.
Yes.
And you are very unique, right? So you were born here, or tell me about like where you started, man.
I born here in Taiwan.
You're born here?
I born here in Taipei, and I spend most of my time doing music. Okay. And to be honest, like I would say maybe I'm 35 right now. Okay. And I would say like maybe 25 or 20 years ago, like we still the popular information, let's say, how do the general public knows about what is popular outside of the country, let's say in United States or in Europe? How do we receive the news or the information that maybe some artists releasing some new tracks or some new albums before internet was a thing? Okay. Right. So I think it's really limited information access for most of the Taiwanese culture-wise. Okay. Sure. So I spent a lot of time like trying to dig out all of the informations and trying to learn something from outside of the country, especially from Japan or United States, to see how we could like get more details, especially music-wise. Like I went to some VHS store a lot to get some kind of like, maybe a Mike Portnoy's a drum tape, and trying to get to understand how he played drums and the concept of of writing certain patterns or
Okay.
how they make all of the albums out, like all of the process. And I think that was a tough time for most of the kids who's crave for the new things and
Yeah.
the information outside of the countries. If you don't have the advantage of
Yeah.
speaking foreign languages
Yeah.
or to understand the foreign languages.
Uh-huh.
I think that's really frustrated for most of the people for Taiwanese back in the days.
Okay.
Especially when internet was a thing.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
think exactly the same thing happened to most of the sports as
Yeah.
well. Like, okay, let's say football. Football never been a popular sport here in Taiwan. And even with basketball or baseball, now it's a professional sport. Even for like let's say basketball, they've got three different, which is outrage. Like I just can't understand
I
the
know.
reason why. But they've got like three professional leagues running at the same time in this island with only 24 million population. It's
crazy.
And how many athletes, like professional athletes, you got to support the league and then to be profitable?
Yeah.
That is a big question for most of the professional athletes nowadays, like trying to figure out, so where is my future?
Yeah.
Like I don't know about my career. The only thing I cared about is to play basketball.
Yeah,
But as for the
exactly.
future, it's like, okay, now it's this league, A league, and the next year there's a B league. I don't know
Yeah.
the difference. The difference is only about the paycheck, the amount on the paycheck.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it's gonna be like Major League Baseball is going to last for another 100 years or
Yeah.
150, or even if it's going to last for like 20 years within my career.
Yeah.
I think they feel so insecure. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but my career time is limited because there's no way I can play basketball until I'm like 40 or 45.
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
gotta find another way out.
Yeah.
So I think that's another really important thing for most of the athletes here in Taiwan. Is like we don't have a stable political environment. We don't have a stable business environment. We don't have a commercialized sports scene environment here in Taiwan, which is, I think, we should be really focusing on.
Yeah.
Just
agreed.
like music scene as well.
Yeah.
Like if I'm playing in a band, I don't know if I could make a living out of playing bands or
It's hard,
playing
yeah.
music or
Yeah.
or anything else. Right. So
Okay, beautiful. I think, with the basketball you were talking about, it's also confusing as a fan. Like, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but if there's games out, if I have the free night, I'll go watch a game. Have a couple beers, and I like it. Live sports is great. Like the stadium here, the baseball stadium, it's
Right,
great.
right,
I
right.
remember when Dwight Howard was here for
Yeah,
a year,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
yeah.
basketball exploded.
exactly.
And I had some customers here that were eating, and I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing tonight?" And they said, "Oh, we're gonna go watch, the Dwight Howard, game." I said,
Right.
"Oh, cool. Where?" And they said, "Across
Just
the
right
street."
here. Yeah, yeah.
And I said, "What?"
And like for general public,
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Right.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "Across where? Here?" And he's like, "Yeah, just across the street at the university." And we look outside and look at this university. I know they have, it's a sports university.
right,
But I
right.
didn't know they had a team there. I didn't know any of that.
Right.
So I think that's one of the problems that, like, people, I don't know if it's the marketing or I don't know what it is, but there's always something that's missing, and people don't know about it until it's too late.
Well, I mean that's an issue for most of the corporation here in Taiwan. It's like everyone's so short-seeing. What's the term called?
Like short-sighted.
Short-sighted.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, I'm going to spend 10 million Taiwanese dollars to get Dwight Howard to come to Taiwan
Yeah.
for a year. And let's see how we're going to recollect
Yeah, that money.
all
that-
of it. Yeah, exactly. So, and then there's no there's no long-term plan for the league or for the sports itself developing here in Taiwan. There's no plan for literally everything. It's all about how we're going to make money with limited resources, with a limited market size because of a population here. So I think it's understandable.
Sure.
But it's unacceptable because when it comes to long term, let's say for my kids, if I'm going to have a kid, I don't know which kind of political environment or even for sports scene or even music scene to be like in the next maybe 20 years or 30 years. Maybe it's not going to even be a country called Taiwan. No one knows.
Nobody
knows. We're in that jeopardy. So, for most of the owner for the corporation or for most of the owners of the business here in Taiwan, there's too many things are uncertain. There's too many things unsure. They couldn't spend more time or even more money for that insecurity. So they were just like, okay, I'm going to take whatever is in front of me. So it's like, okay, let's do this, and I don't want to care about what's gonna cost or
just like take the quick money.
Exactly.
Make a little bit of money there.
Right.
But it seems like a lot of the sports have this issue. I used to coach soccer here many years ago. And same thing, as soon as, you talk to some of the parents, there's a lot of talented kids here.
Right.
And then as soon as, they finish grade 6, everybody quits because they're going to go to junior high. So then instead of soccer, they're going to go to math class.
Right.
And
exactly.
I'm like, what?
Oh,
I'm But this kid is amazing.
So when I was in high school, when it comes to a major exam during the semesters, the math teacher will borrow the class time from the PE teacher.
Really?
Yeah. Just saying, because the major exam is coming in. So I will have to have some kind of quiz and test for the kids. So you will have to cancel. You will have to cancel the PE. You will have to cancel the art class. You will have to cancel the music class.
It's crazy.
So the kids could prepare for the exam. Which is, back in the days, for most of the kids, we thought that's normal. We thought that was necessary. We thought that was, because math is more important than PE, is more important than music. But that's the vibe. That's the environment here in Asia, especially in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. That's pretty sad, but that's reality.
No, like when I said all these kids, they quit, and I was like, I just got here and I had these kids for 4 years, and I was kind of like heartbroken because I could just picture, making connections in Canada and U.S. and university and sending them the scholarships.
Exactly.
But
and you got the scholarship and you've got the opportunity to get proper trainings, and you've got the opportunity to prove yourself. If it's not the case, then it is not. But at least you've got the opportunity to try.
And I asked the parents. I said, some of the kids, I said, they're really talented. But like you were just saying, at the end of the day, they said, he's going to play professional soccer here? There's no money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they said.
Exactly. Right.
But so it was kind of heartbreaking for me.
It is.
But it seems like a lot of the organizations are doing that.
Right.
It seems to be, not much has changed. But it seems like CFC has a different plan. It seems like they're trying to kind of connect the dots and build the sport.
Yeah. When we're trying to, when you say connecting the dots, it's pretty fascinating for me because that's exactly what we're doing right now. There are two major dots that we're trying to connect. One is professional boxing scene here in Taiwan. It's tiny, it's small, of course, but it's solid. It's super solid. Like everyone's into combat sports, everyone into boxing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how they're going to make a living out of it. But it's a tiny thing. Let's say maybe less than 1,000 people out of 24 million population here in Taiwan. It is small, but it's tiny. But at the same time, there's another dot that we're trying to connect. It's like, just like Jake Paul, right?
I love it. Yeah.
So the guy
yeah.
is a multi-billionaire, and the guy is famous from I don't know what he was in the beginning live streaming.
In the beginning, I believe he was, when he was a kid, he was in like Mickey Mouse Club or something like that.
Oh my God! I didn't
like
even
Disney
know
Channel, Disney Channel stuff.
He was
And
from
then-
Disney Channel.
I believe so.
Oh my God!
And then he did the YouTube thing, and him and his brother,
Right, so
they
so
kind of
it's like
exploded on
YouTuber,
YouTube.
right?
YouTube mostly.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he became an
Huge.
influencer.
Yeah.
And because he was so into combat sport, and he became a proper, I wouldn't say professional, but
Yeah.
a proper boxer.
Yeah.
And then now he's like a professional boxer.
Yeah, for sure.
How many people in the world knows about Jake Paul and didn't know about, like, literally nothing about boxing? And that was the beginning. Jake Paul was their beginning to
Yep.
get to understand what was boxing all about.
Yep.
And I think that's another thought. It's like we did a Taipei Arena show
Yes. Tell me about that one.
in last August, and the headliner was two influencers,
Yeah.
YouTuber or something, and they did have some beefs about. It's actually one of the influencers was a professional esports. A player who played League of Legends for like 10 years, and he won a world championship back in 2011 or something.
Okay.
And then he retired, became a full-time streamer, and he became a really good influencers, and he got really good streaming views online. And then his boss back in the days, who was the owner of that esports team,
Okay.
didn't pay him for he didn't follow the contract to pay him whatever he should be deserved. And then they've got all kinds of, like, you know, beef and always talking shit on the internet.
Sure, okay.
And then we were like, okay, we're familiar with both parties.
Yeah.
Why don't we just put out about just like professional boxing events, and we will have it in the Taipei Arena, which was the biggest venue. The capacity is like 18,000 capacity.
How did
in
it do?
Taipei.
How did you guys do in the Taipei Arena?
What do you mean by how?
Like, how many did you sell out?
We sold out. We sold out.
Amazing.
We sold out within maybe 5 days, and nobody thought that could be done. That could be the thing back in the days. But before we announced that, they were like, okay, combat sports. You're talking combat sports. Even UFC don't have any TV station to play.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there's literally no cable TV.
Yeah.
Like bought the show from UFC or even WWE.
Exactly.
Like no one cares about combat sports here on the island.
Yeah.
But somehow we connected the dots.
Exactly.
We know that could be more professional. Like we should put more professional boxers onto the event.
Yeah.
And we could definitely improve in any way. But that's a start.
Okay.
And that's why we're after 6 months of the CFC regular seasons, like we put on how many shows? I forgot. In April, like March, April, May,
5, 6.
Yeah, and now we're into the CFC international invitation already.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we already finished that, and our next goal is to bring all of the CFC pro boxers to Taipei Arena.
Love it.
To enjoy the vibe.
Yeah.
Like the thousands, like 10,000, 15,000 people yelling when you're boxing. That's a dream come true for most of the Taiwanese boxers. It's like
For anybody who's ever played a sport in their life. That's the dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, our ultimate goal is for our the CFC boxers to win a belt from maybe, let's say, WBO or WBA in the future.
Yes.
But we will have to have the opportunities to let our boxers to get used to,
Of course.
the competition like this, or
Yeah.
to say like a sports event like this.
Yeah.
It's not just a simple competition. It's a
Yeah.
combination of broadcast, the combination of broadcast and entertainment business, show business, and everything else
Yeah.
together. And yeah, that's the idea we're trying to put it to the general public's head, as well as all of the professional athletes' heads as well. It's not just sports itself. Sometimes you will have to think about, like, marketing wise, broadcast wise, to draw money into the league or into the event itself. Then we will have the money to make this more how do you say, more
Just like complete this. It's,
to
it's like a
complete
puzzle,
it.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think just a quick one more thing about the Taipei Arena. About, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, WWE actually came here,
Yes.
and they didn't fill the arena. I went because my father-in-law is a massive fan. Right? And he's always, so my wife is Hakka from Miaoli, and my father-in-law is always the very traditional, like, don't spend money, don't spend money, don't spend money, right? And so about a month before, I got floor seats for me and him. And I told him, this day come to Taipei, and I kind of surprised him.
Right.
He didn't even know that it was coming.
Right.
And I said, okay, come out and, we spend the day.
Right.
He said, okay, perfect. Sorry, yeah. and then he said, okay, perfect. So he came out, and I said, okay, tonight we're going to go to Taipei. We're going to watch WWE.
Right.
And he was like,
What?
And he said, they're here. I said, yeah, they're here. I bought tickets. I bought floor seats. And his usual response is, no, don't spend money.
Right.
And he was just like, okay, let's go. So I was like, okay, let's go.
Right.
And we went, and we got there, and they sell the T-shirts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I said, go pick a T-shirt.
Right.
And he's like, no. I'm like, go pick a T-shirt. And he's like, ooh, I like that one. I said, okay. I said, what's your size? And it was like medium or small.
Right.
So I got the shirt, and I think it was like 800 or a couple thousand or
Not
something.
bad.
Yeah, it was okay, right? But for him, he's like, hey, that's way too much money, right? And I'm like, doesn't matter. I don't know how many more times these guys will come here. So let's do it, right? And so he gets it, and he puts it on, and I'm like, okay, so I bought it, and oh man, he had like the most fun he's had that I've ever seen.
Right.
For the most happy I've ever seen him. We sat in the front, and
Wow.
we were like not quite in the very, very front row, and there was one empty section beside us. For some reason, empty section, and he just kind of walked over, and he just sat like right there,
And
by himself.
and no one
said
kind of
anything.
like
And I'm like, hey, we're not allowed.
That's
I said
fabulous.
we're not allowed to go there because
Right.
it's. I don't know what's wrong with this section, but we're not allowed. And he's an old man, old Taiwanese guy.
Right.
He just went there, and the people are like,
well,
it's just, it's okay. He's just,
yeah.
So he sat there, he kind of had legs crossed and just, having his coffee, just watching, and he loved it.
Wow.
It was great. It was really cool,
Wow.
man. It was good. But my whole point is, there were still seats. It wasn't sold out.
Right.
Which is
And
crazy.
The inside story for that
Oh,
event
okay.
was they actually gave away almost 60% of
Really?
the ticket of the box office.
Okay.
Yeah. And even so, it's not full.
I would say probably half empty, or maybe a little
Right.
bit less than half.
Right,
But
right.
if they gave away, like we paid for front row
Right,
and stuff.
right,
I knew maybe
right.
5 or 6 people that were there, but that's it. And so for you guys to sell out Taipei Arena, that's incredible.
Well,
I love it.
it's not about combat sports itself. It's more about the entertaining. How we're going to the marketing, the story behind it. And we already knew that no one cares about how they're going to play the professional boxing on the ring. They just wanna kind of like having a laugh.
I think that they want to go, and it's
It became
it's
a
an
social event.
Yeah,
it became a social event.
go
It's like
there.
everyone saying like,
Everyone's gonna be
you're
there.
going. I didn't get a ticket.
Yeah.
So the pressure is on me because everyone's going. So I will have to get the tickets one way or the other. It doesn't really matter where I sit, and it doesn't really matter who is on the show. It doesn't really matter who's playing the boxing, or even what kind of sports. It doesn't matter. Like the way we sold it was like, you will have to come because most of the most famous influencers in Taiwan will be there. It's a social gathering, a place for most of the influencers and famous people and singers and artists as well. So it doesn't really matter as for the event itself, but as a social gathering.
It's kind of like, people would think anyone who's anyone will be there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to go.
You have to go.
You don't like boxing, doesn't matter. You're still
right.
And I think that's one of the key things that a lot of organizations they're missing, because you get a lot of organizations that are run by maybe the sports people, and they're like, we have really good boxers, or we have really good singers or whatever it is.
But it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just like when I was in the band.
Yeah.
I was a drummer for a death metal band called Revolvement here in Taiwan, and we've been touring for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like we've been touring Southeast Asia. Like most of the countries we've been toured. Like I mean, most of the countries in Southeast Asia, we already been toured.
You've been there. Beautiful.
And we've been to Scandinavia. We've been to like tons of countries in Europe, and we've been to literally everywhere. And the point is, we've been toured with enormous amounts of really, really talented bands.
Yeah.
Like technique-wise, they're one of the best in the world.
Okay.
Just like, oh my God, I just don't know how you came up with the patterns. I just don't know how you came up with the riffs and the way you guys present that on the stage in that death metal scene was enormous. It's just like another world, the music from the other world. But after all, they're like underground band.
Yeah.
Like no one cares about how good you are.
Yeah.
No one really cares about like how difficult it was to play this riff.
To learn that riff.
And no one cares about how long you're gonna to take from literally zero to that point.
Yeah, you're a master. Nobody cares.
Yeah, because nobody cares. They don't like, oh, you play guitar, so could you play me some,
Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, exactly. or even worse, like, could you play me Justin Bieber or Jay Chou?
Okay,
like that. Like, especially when it's Chinese New Year.
Yeah, of course.
You play in the band, so do you know Mayday? Like, some of the elders would have the conversation with us like that. So, well, to be honest, the general public, everyone got their own professions. Like maybe for some of the folks, their professions are in accounting, and some of them from IT. Some of them is like software engineering, and for us, it was like event planning, music, show business. So I totally understand that the people don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's our job to minimize the complication of everything, because show business is the whole point for show business is to make connections. I give you something you would like. I give you something you would enjoy. You would spend money for.
Yes.
And then make you happy. It doesn't really matter how, for me. It's not the point. I teach you this is super difficult and super rare to become that kind of professional boxer, and just ask you to swallow it, just shovel whatever the professional wise kind of like information, just like, oh, because of that, because of this, so this guy is really, really amazing, so you will have to spend maybe a couple thousands of Taiwanese dollars to get the tickets and to see how they do the things. So I don't think that's the point for exploring or even expanding the sports scene here in Taiwan. No one cares about how good you are, or even say so. that's your job to become a good athlete, to become a great athlete.
Yep.
That's a bare minimum request to
Yeah.
become a professional athlete,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't sell your techniques, you don't sell your professional, because that is your day job. That's your job when it comes to professional athletes. And my job is to let people understand and let people accept
Yeah.
and make them to feel like this is entertaining. I would love to pay money to visit this event to see how much joy that I could have.
Yeah.
Right.
I think like what you're basically in a nutshell, it's entertainment.
Exactly.
The people are paying money. It's like it's almost like but like you go to the circus, you pay money. Hey, I had a great time.
Yeah.
What kind of animal is that? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
This is
because
a-
I had a great time with my
Great
family.
time.
I had a great time with my friends.
Have some
food.
drinks.
Yeah. Just
Good
like
time.
when you're going to let's say Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And you bought a box for one night, and the box costs you maybe like maybe 100,000 of US dollars.
Yeah.
And it's not about the ball game itself. It's about having a great time with your family, with your clients, or maybe make you more, more kind of like upper class of the business. It's like, oh, I just bought the box, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And there's food, there's drinks. It's a social gathering. So when it comes to capitalism, there's actually a lot of people got lost, always thinking about, okay, so there's expense, there's profits.
Yeah.
But the core of capitalism is trust.
Okay.
That's my idea. It is like not my idea. My thought is like I think the core for capitalism is trust. It's like only if you're happy with someone, then you will have the trust in someone.
I agree.
So only if you're happy in any kinds of business, then you will trust the business is worth to spend money in, or even to invest.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
I have a restaurant.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. It's the same
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
Sometimes people will, they'll come and they'll say, well, I can make, tacos cheap or whatever at home. Like, well, you go for it.
Go for it.
No problem. That's okay.
It's not the case here.
Exactly.
Just like I know how to make beef noodles, but it doesn't mean that I could move to United States and could make a living out of making beef noodles.
It's
there.
very hard.
Right.
One quick thing is I remember back in the day there was this Mexican guy. He came here, and usually I was the first among the first, probably the first foreigner to have the Mexican food here, and this Mexican guy came and he was kind of like, talk a lot of shit. Right. I'm like, okay, whatever, And then he said, oh, you cannot have flour tortillas, only corn tortillas, because in Mexico, only corn tortillas. And
Good luck with that.
And a lot of people talk so much shit. Okay, cool. And then so he was selling his tacos. And, some people said good, some people said bad, whatever. And within 3 months, I saw this post. Now available, flour tortillas.
Right, exactly.
I told you. I've tried to help you.
Right, that's the time when I was so like I wouldn't say adore, but I look up to the corporation like McDonald's or like Starbucks. It's like, how the heck you make something so stable?
5 or 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
The food or whatever.
But and it's exactly the same literally everywhere in the world.
Crazy.
I always get homesick when I'm traveling, like when I'm touring with the bands or
of course.
Like, the only thing I ate when I got homesick was McDonald's and Big Mac.
Yeah.
And Big Mac. Like I'm not from the United States.
Yeah.
But Big Mac tastes
the same.
Exactly.
Always.
Tastes exactly the same with I've got from my hometown.
Yeah.
And,
is it
literally everywhere?
Is it a 10 out of 10? It's not. It's like
it's not
6
but
or 7.
I don't
Doesn't
need
matter.
10 out of 10.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
Of course, if we could achieve 10 out of 10, that's dreams come true. But we know that's going to take time. It's going to take huge amounts of money to make that happen.
So and it's not necessary.
It's well,
you want a Michelin star or something? Okay, that's different.
At this point, it's not necessary. But I wouldn't
exactly.
say it's not necessary in the next next 10 years or in the near future. Right. But at least at this point, I would
Yeah.
love to have a average.
Yeah.
At least we pass
Yeah, yeah.
pass
Sure.
the bare minimum of the standard and get to let as more people as we could to understand the
Yeah.
concept and to accept it as a professional sport.
Okay. And let me ask, why start with boxing?
Okay, all right.
I know.
If let's
Yeah.
say mixed martial arts,
Okay.
I will have to explain why two grown men
Yeah.
hugging together on the
Okay.
ground and the referee doesn't call out just like
Yeah.
timeout or to break.
Okay.
It's all about marketing wise and
Okay.
broadcast wise,
Okay.
and the how we're going to make Taiwanese people understand the rules or understand the sports in the very short time.
Okay.
I think there's too much to educate and too much to talk about when
Yeah.
it comes to MMA or kickboxing or even
Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu,
it's
wrestling,
too complicated
everything.
for
Yeah.
the beginners.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
no, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so boxing, it's easy enough.
Yeah.
So I can teach you like maybe overnight.
Yeah.
Just come with me to a boxing event.
Yeah.
Then I'll show you. Then I'll teach you the basic rules. And then
Yeah.
you will find it. I don't know, attractive,
Yeah.
entertainment,
Yeah, yeah.
entertaining, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But at least it gets you the basic understanding that
Like a foundation.
Yeah, the foundation of how this sport is actually running.
Okay.
Instead of like I
Beautiful.
will have to explain you all of the
Stand up and
stand up
ground
and
and a
ground.
cage.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. It's too complicated. But
Okay. Okay, that makes-
as for the mother company of CFC, it's called Taiwan Fighting Sports Cooperation.
Okay.
So I think the name already show our ambitions
Yeah.
in the future. It's like
Beautiful.
it's not gonna be only boxing.
Okay.
It's gonna be kickboxing as well, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and ultimate goal is MMA.
Okay.
We will have our MMA league here in
Okay.
Taiwan.
Beautiful.
And yeah,
I
that's
love that.
our ultimate goal.
I think that one of the good things about boxing as well is it's old.
It is
like
so
people know. I think people will know like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Taiwanese people will know Mike Tyson.
Yes, of course.
Muhammad Ali,
Yes,
stuff like that.
yes,
You know.
yes.
Maybe you
And
know,
Rocky. Yeah. Right.
Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't say
some
Pacquiao, like,
Pacquiao.
some
maybe Mayweather. So
Yeah.
quick story. You know, we show the fights here, right? If it's
Right.
a big boxing, we'll show it. We show the UFC and stuff like that. And I had two restaurants before, and I had Mayweather McGregor, right? So that fight, you know, we're like, yeah, we're gonna show it. You know, people will come, be the same thing. And I said, okay, well, let's just organize and say, okay, you know, let's make reservations.
Right.
This restaurant within like 2 days full. So I said, okay, so we would show at both restaurants,
Right.
and then right away both restaurants full.
Right.
And my phone starts to ring, and it's like Messenger. It's a customer I haven't seen in years. So this lady is she's a dog rescuer.
Okay.
She's a vegan,
Okay.
right? And she's super sweet lady. But so it's this dog rescuer, like vegan lady who doesn't give a shit about fighting or
Right,
sports or
right,
anything.
right.
My messengers ring, and I look at it. I'm like, oh, pick it up. I'm like, I think some emergency or something. I'm like, hello. She's like, hey Eddie, how's it going? I'm like, oh, good. What's up? It's like, do you have any space for the Mayweather McGregor fight? And
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
She's like, yeah. Do you have any space? I said, you want to
you
watch
want-
the Mayweather McGregor fight? She's like, yeah, of course.
Right.
So it's exactly what you said.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to be there. Where
Yes.
were you
Yeah.
when Mayweather fought McGregor?
Right.
So it's a similar. It's amazing.
So
it's incredible.
in Philippines, it's exactly the same. It's like when Pacquiao's got
Oh, yeah.
a boxing night.
Yeah.
Like it's a national holiday.
I love that.
For literally everyone in Philippines, and the roads are empty, and no one's going anywhere because everyone's staying at home to watch the boxing.
That's
night.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
is
amazing.
amazing.
That's
That is
amazing.
amazing. And of course, that would be fabulous if we could like build up the culture here in
Yeah.
Taiwan. And well, that's the downside for us. at the same time is an advantage for us because we're from from zero.
We have to find that guy.
Yeah, we will
it.
have to find that guy, but
Yeah.
we don't have any restrictions from literally any associations or any corporations because this is not a thing right now.
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
just like we can just like we could just like make that happen from zero.
I think I got to watch a few events, and there's a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my guy Zhong Jiao, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love when he fought with Rafael. I was commentating, and I quite like both guys a lot.
Right.
It's difficult for me. 'cause I'm
Right,
like,
of course.
I really like both of these guys.
Of course.
I had them both on the podcast actually, and so I think he's a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's
You're talking about Zhong Jiao.
Zhong Jiao.
Oh,
Zhong
right,
Jiao,
right,
yeah.
okay.
He's a young guy.
Yeah.
He's like charisma, a little bit cocky, right? A little bit of a gimmick.
I wouldn't say cocky, but that's his character.
But no, but the character,
Right,
he has the, like the gimmick of like.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Oh,
I think it's great.
It's one of the best for show wise.
Yes.
Like broadcast wise.
So something like that is great.
Yeah, totally.
So he fought. What was it? Last week? 2 weeks ago? He fought.
2 weeks ago.
And it was great.
The second
round knockout.
Second round knockouts. It's like it was great.
So tell me about that. Tell me about
So as a show producer, I was super nervous after the second bouts because the first two bouts were all knockouts.
Okay.
Zhong Jiao knockout his opponent, the Thai boxer, the second round.
Yeah.
And then the second bout, Guo Kaiqi knockouts another Thai boxer
Yeah.
in the very first round. So as a show producer, I was like, oh my God.
How do you feel about that? Tell me about that.
I was super nervous because I will have to. Well, I've got tons of sponsors. I will have to, I will have to report, and I will have I have a lot of fans online, and I've got like tons of fans.
Of course, yeah.
The very first thing went into my mind after the second bout's knockout. I was like, "Oh my God!" Because I was a matchmaker as well.
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh shit!" I was so bad at this.
So for you, 7 fights, 7 first round knockouts is a nightmare.
It's definitely a nightmare.
Okay,
It's definitely
okay.
a nightmare because
Okay.
when it comes to broadcast, like between rounds and between fights, we will have a lot of commercial time. We will have a lot of like contracting guarantee for my sponsorship. I will have to exposing their logos. I will have to exposing their. If there's a time limit for me, at least I will have to give them maybe 270 seconds in total of their logos exposing or the things like that. So the shorter the fight was, the biggest nightmares for me. It's like, And to be honest, there's no fan want to watch a boxing event is like 7 knockouts straight, and it's all Taiwanese boxers won.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're kind of like manipulating.
You're choosing weak opponents.
You're choosing weaker opponents, and So
And
I
people
thought,
talk.
I thought that was. But to be honest, the guy Zhong Jiao knocked out was a super experienced and talented. He was in the Muay Thai. He had like 200 fights, and he won 160 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he just became a proper like professional boxer for like only 2 years, and maybe that's why.
Wow.
And the second guy, the second
one was
second one as well.
Yeah.
He at least had like maybe 80 or 90 Muay Thai, and he won 70 of them.
That's
And that's exactly the case told us. Like, it's different. Muay Thai and boxing is so different that it doesn't really mean if you're good in Muay Thai, it doesn't mean that you will be good in boxing as well. It's a different world. It's a different sport.
I remember once watching I think it was a 1FC card, and they were building up this main event, and it ended up being like a person who was a professional boxer versus,
Right.
versus a professional Muay Thai. And I thought, okay, the Muay Thai is going to win because they're going to use the kicks, they're going to keep away.
Right.
And then the boxer just got really close and just bang, 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 knocked him out.
Yeah, you couldn't
was
even
similar.
raise your leg.
Yeah,
there's
so
no
it was
room for
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about strategy. It's all about how you're going to make yourself more advantage in certain ways. So yeah, I think it's not just as simple as we thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I think we have some
that's
comments,
fascinating.
actually. I can't read the Chinese one, man. Can you see? Yeah, I think it's Zhong Jiayao.
Yeah, that's Zhong Jiayao. Yeah.
What's up, brother? Yes. Hey, this guy. Yeah. So okay. So you, in the beginning, before CFC, you were doing with esports,
Yes.
right? So tell me, are there similarities? Is it completely different? Tell me about esports to boxing.
Right. The reason why I joined esports was only because I've been doing the production coordinators for most of the major music festivals here in Asia,
Okay.
especially in Japan and in mainland China, and then I met someone in mainland China.
Okay.
They were like a production company or so, and one day I got a call from an old friend that we've been working together for a long time. And she was like, hey, I've got a client coming to Taiwan to do a really big show, a really big event. I couldn't tell you what is it at the moment, but I need you to put up a production assistant, a team,
Okay.
approximately 20 of them. And I was like,
That's
what kind
huge.
of event
Yeah.
needs like 20 production assistants? But anyway, I put the team together, and it turned out it was League of Legends. Global events.
Nice.
Right. So we the loading for the events was like 3 weeks. The loading
Okay,
and
wow.
the building, and
Really?
then rehearsal for a week, and the show days was like 5 or 7 days or so, and loadout was like 1 week. Right. And after that, I was just a production assistant.
Okay.
And the very last day of the finals, they kind of like need a local hand to help the stage manager on the stage to managing the open ceremony.
Yep.
And because I did a lot of like music concerts and music festivals, so to be honest, I'm kind of familiar with
Yeah, of course. That's
they're
what you
doing.
do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
And then the senior stage manager, like, okay, this guy definitely knows what
Yeah.
he's been doing, and he seems quite decent. So he came to me after show saying like, hey, would you like to travel around the world with us? And I was like, that's exactly what I've been doing for like 15 years. But I don't have any reluctance to do so
Let's go.
again.
Yeah.
Let's go. So I've got the offer every year, twice a year,
Okay.
which is MSI, which is mid-season invitation, usually taking place in April, and then the Worlds, usually in autumn, and the trip. Every tournament is about 45 days to 50 days,
Okay,
so
wow.
it's pretty much like 2 months. So I've been traveling with League of Legends for maybe 5 or 6 years, even during pandemic,
Okay.
during the COVID time. But to be honest, that is my. I love quarantine. I know
love
it's
it.
bad. I know it's bad to say so, but I just miss the days that we've been quarantined. It's like I can organize my daily schedule. Just like I woke up and okay, what I'm supposed to do today, so I
Okay.
can properly organize my schedule for the day, and once it's lunchtime, someone knock on my door and saying like, hey, it's lunchtime, and I got fed by the staff, and
Wow.
and most important is like I've got paid to be locked in the hotel room.
Wow.
What
Okay.
kind of world was
Good
that,
life.
right? Yeah. So I wouldn't complain too
Okay,
much.
okay.
So, the working day was like 60 days, and then 3 weeks quarantine before that, and another 3 weeks quarantine after that. So it's
Okay.
basically almost like maybe 4 to 5 months, and
Okay.
we will have to do twice a year. So it's basically like 2/3 of the year
Yeah,
just
yeah.
went by, and it was like I totally enjoy it.
Oh, wow.
Right. So
Okay.
after I got the offer from this company, I was like, from Taiwan Fighting Sports Company. I was like, what the heck? I just don't know where the idea came from for you. Just like, I didn't have any background whatsoever is similar to any kind of like sports background or the background. But when I kind of like Googling, like I didn't know, I know nothing about boxing or combat sports before last November.
Okay.
I literally knows nothing. So I started like kind of like Googling
like
and
crash
trying
course.
trying to find some of the footages on the YouTube. And I was like, if I were the producer, I would like to have kind of like, you know, maybe a little bit lighting adjustment here for the workouts, and a little bit kind of like camera adjustment on this side, and da. And then I was like, damn, I'm attached.
Yeah.
Damn, it's kind of like a challenge for me, waiting for me to be solved and to be challenged. And I was like, okay, I definitely have to say yes to this because it's a desert. It's a combat sport desert here in Taiwan. I don't have any restrictions. I don't have any successful cases whatsoever to be followed. It's from the ground. It's from the very beginning.
You're the pioneer on this.
Yeah. And I think the idea of, I wouldn't say pioneer, but I think the idea for the very first group of people who's been doing this, the idea of that just like kind of like turning on my switch of doing show business. Just like how many opportunities you could have in the lifetime. That you've got the resources, you have the manpower, and you've got the whole corporations is behind you, and let you explore the scene and makes you make the plan how you're going to make this happen. I think that's fabulous for me personally, of course. Right, but at the same time, there comes with a lot of responsibilities as well. It's like pressure. We will have to control the budgets. At the same time, we will have a lot of like political issues to be solved, to be faced. And ideology kind of like conversations that we should be participated in. So but I mean in general I'm super pleased and happy, to be honest. Busy as hell every single day. But at least I'm super happy and satisfied.
It's enjoyable, right?
Enjoyable. It's definitely enjoyable. Super happy.
So let's talk a little bit about what's first. Let's cheers. That's awesome.
Cheers.
I love it. Thank you for that. I love the. Thanks for giving me the chance. I really enjoy doing the commentary for MMA, for boxing, for everything.
You're part of a team right now. Wow.
Ooh, there we go. Can't edit that one out.
So I've been talking to the team. Is like, we love the English channel. That's better than the Chinese channel for the last year, because you put into so much details that we couldn't even deliver in Mandarin Chinese. Because of the language
is different.
Language is different, and at the same time, boxing is from the West.
From English,
from
English language.
From English language. So you could be more detailed. You could be more specific to a certain kind of like how they're going to do and what's in their mind, like what they're trying to achieve. I think that's fascinating.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I love it.
So you're definitely part of the team.
I was on my feet the whole time. At the end, when I got home, I'm like, oh, I think I didn't sit down the whole time. I was bouncing around like, what's going on? Yeah, so good.
But that's the enthusiasm, right?
Yeah,
the
it was
vibe
so
of
good.
it.
I didn't go to the bathroom. I was like, I don't. So funny, right?
That's on me. I will definitely.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, but so transition from esports to professional boxing.
Okay, so
easy for you.
I wouldn't say easy.
Not easy. Okay.
It's a different. It's a show-wise, it's easy.
Okay.
Well, there's a stage, there's a lighting system, there's audio systems, and there's like broadcast and everything else. I know how to organize and how to coordinate across all different departments. I don't think that's the issue. But the issue was I didn't know anything about boxing whatsoever. I didn't even know any boxer whatsoever.
Okay.
So that was a challenge. Is like I will have to understand the sport first, and then I will have to organize a proper kind of like regulations for CFC. I was alone.
Oh, wow.
I will have to deliver within 2 months because I didn't have too much time. All of the shareholders, all of the owners of the companies are waiting to see what you gonna to deliver.
Okay.
So I will have to put together my team in a really short time, and we will have to onboard in a really short time, and we will have to get to study all of the regulations and all of the rules for literally from every organizations in the world, including WBO, WIBA, including the Chinese boxing associations, as well as the Olympics organizations here in Taiwan. And we're trying to get to understand what's the difference between professional boxing and amateur boxing. Like literally from the ground, from zero to what we have today. So it was challenging. It's definitely challenging for me. But my concept was I was a drummer, and then I became a music producer, a DJ, and then I kind of like changed my career into behind the scene, doing the sound engineering or the show planner. The only reason I drop off my artist career only because I don't wanna spend 30 or even 40 years to know the reality is I'm not good enough to become famous, to make money out of it. Like I think it's too risky for me to kind of like bet my whole life into this career, right?
I agree.
It's not about how good you are, but most of the time it's like how lucky you are.
Sure.
So I changed my career into behind the scene. So if I couldn't be the superstar, maybe I could be someone who helped the superstars to be on the stage. And what kind of superstar was that? Does it have to be a singers or the bands or any kind of artist? Or even the esports player who play video games? Or even boxers? So the concept for me is exactly the same. I want to become the superstar on the stage, but I don't think I could. So I become the one who helps anyone who wanted to become a superstar onto the stage. And I do whatever it takes to make this happen. I think this is the compromise I made to stay in the show business. Right, because I know there's it's a limited window for most of the artists or the musicians to become who's really, really glowing and shining on the stage. And I know there's more people suffering when the camera is not on. It's like, I don't have my stage. I don't know where my lunch will be. Like
100%. Like I agree with it, because for me, when I came here, I was doing English, but I was also my main thing back home and stuff was coaching soccer. And when I came here, you know, I was doing the soccer and it was pretty good. I had my own little academy. And everybody, all the kids were like, wow, you know, all the parents were like, wow, you're really good. You know, did you ever play pro? I'm like, I'm not good enough to play pro. You know what I mean? So I was coaching, and, you know, it was really good. But after, you know, you get your heart broken so many times, everybody quits. They quit. You know, they quit. Everybody quits because they have to go to, you know, Bushi Ban or something.
cram school.
Your heart breaks so many times. And then, you know, got married, and then we just started, okay, I'm going to stop that, and I will do this. And then, this has been pretty good. But it's I can understand 100%. You kind of have to pivot, because I realized I'm never going to play pro. And maybe, like, I'm also quite a good coach. But I have friends that coach the national team. Am I a good coach as them? No. Of course not.
So it's all about the self-awareness.
Self-awareness,
It's like, am I good? Yes, I'm good. But I am, like, good enough to become that one out of...
That one out of a million.
Yeah, one of a million. I'm not going to take any chances to put everything I've got and just like, okay, either succeeds, either I died.
Yeah,
I think it just doesn't worth it.
I
In
agree.
my personal perspective.
Agree.
Right.
I'm gonna pull up some pictures, man, right
Okay.
here. I got some really good pictures from your stuff. Bam.
Oh my God!
That-
Oh wow!
Who has their own Funko?
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing.
Oh jeez.
How did you get this? This is
Right,
crazy. Tell me this.
so I've got signed by Sony Music in Japan.
Okay.
I think that was in 2014 or 2015 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And sorry,
So good.
I'm just kind of like shocked that I haven't seen that Funko for a long time.
It's so cool.
So they released a limited version of my Funko only in Osaka area, only in Kansai area. So it's a limited. It's I think
it's
there's
valuable.
only 100 of them, and Sony released that when I was the opening guest for some other artists in Sony Music.
So if you guys
back in the
have that,
days.
man, I want one. Send it. I want to put it on the
Wow.
shelf. So
Wow.
cool. I saw that and I was like, how did you get a Funko? So cool. Next
Right.
one. That's such a great
Okay,
picture.
so this is
Such a great picture.
I was the stage managers for League of Legends Worlds last year in 2023, and the open ceremony was with New Jeans.
Oh,
So
really?
New Jeans was
wow.
the opening show, and
Okay.
then this is the show I won the second Emmy Awards
I was
as
good.
well.
I have those on
Right,
here. I
right,
have the
right.
Emmy. Let me pull that up right now.
Right.
Bam.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
so,
of course I wanted to bring that up.
So
Yeah.
I won the very first Emmy Awards was in 2022, and that was the League of Legends show that happens in San Francisco. Well, the
Amazing.
tournament was from Mexico.
Okay.
Was the play-ins, and then
Okay.
the group stage was in New York, Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And then the semifinals, the quarterfinal and semifinals was in Atlanta. What was the stadium called? It's basically Atlanta Hawks Arena.
Oh, okay,
Right,
okay.
I
Wow.
forgot the name. State Farm Arena.
Okay,
Right,
okay.
that was the semi and the quarter and semifinals, and then the final was in Chase Center, which is the Warriors.
That's crazy.
Arena, and that was really hell of a journey because the world champion that year, they actually was the fourth, which is the bottom seed from Korea.
Oh.
And
okay.
no one thought they could survive after Mexico.
Okay.
Like everyone thought they were going to be down in
Okay.
Mexico. They wouldn't have a chance to travel to New York for the groups, and somehow they made it to the finals. It's already
Amazing.
an amazing underdog story, and yet they won
That's
the world
beautiful.
championship after a best of 5. So
Amazing.
that's just like literally everyone was crying in the arena.
Beautiful.
And everyone became their fans. Even the opponents' fans
Yeah.
really respect the journey that they had within maybe 45 days in Mexico and United States.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so cool, man. Congrats on that.
Right.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Right.
When I saw that, I was like, what? What don't I know about this guy? So I had to deep dive and it's like, wow.
right.
Another picture there.
Oh
This is
wow!
part of-
Okay,
yeah.
so this was in this January. We invited Manny Pacquiao. Well, we actually offer Manny Pacquiao as our CFC's honorable president.
Okay,
So
okay.
he was here as for a press conference. So it's kind of like an announcement that CFC is released, and we
Okay.
will have our first event in March, and then Pacquiao will be our honorable president,
Beautiful.
and he will be coming back to Taipei again in our Taipei Arena show
Yes.
in December.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Okay.
We're
Taipei
looking
Arena.
forward to that.
Taipei Arena. Let's go. Let's
Right.
go. Couple more pictures. I got
Okay,
these are great.
the left one was in London, and that was the League of Legends show as well. And the right one was in Chengdu. It's actually in this April.
Okay.
So that was the the last day after everything. So we usually like hang out on the stage, kind of like saying goodbye to the stage, because every stage that we manage are unique.
Okay.
Because they're just like once in a lifetime. We're going to tear everything up.
Okay, yeah,
because we build this for this event. So,
makes sense.
it's kind of sad, especially for stage managers.
It's like art,
like
yeah.
We will have to tear this down, and some other show will come in to build their own stage.
Okay.
So we will stay on the stage as long as we could, and take a lot of like pictures, and hang out with all of the staffs, and congratulating to each other with a successful event for like maybe 30 days or even 60 days or so. Yeah, so that's how we usually enjoy our last minutes before we traveling back home. And because like literally everyone from everywhere in the world, like people traveling from United States, or people traveling from Germany, people traveling from England or from Taiwan, from Japan. So this is kind of like a huge social gathering event for most of us to say goodbye to every one of.
That's beautiful, man. I love it. It's like a living thing, right?
Right, exactly.
Beautiful. I got 3 more left.
Oh, boom. Wow.
I love this one.
Okay, so
the behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, I think this is from the CFC show in May or June when okay, this is definitely in May. So I think that was my second this is in April. This is my second CFC show.
Okay.
And as a show producer, I was so nervous that I couldn't make things right, because I was a show caller as well.
Okay.
So I will have to cue the lighting, the broadcast, all of the cameras, as well as my stage managers to release the boxes from backstage onto the stage and do the walkouts and onto the ring, as well as I will have to cue the hosts to do all of the introductions and all of the lines, especially for introducing the boxes, and I will have to give him all of the informations. In urgent, if something went wrong, I will have to say, hey, just like give me 2 more lines to solve some kind of like technical issues or problems. Okay. So I will have a clock, so I would understand what kind of.
Keep yourself like on a budget of time.
And round of show and multi viewers, so I could know which kind of which cameras pointing in which directions, and I could ask which cameras to move to a certain spot to take the next shots that I wanted. And all of the communications softwares, because at the same time my boss would texting me downstage saying like, hey, I'm gonna make a speech later.
Oh yeah, he just switches it up.
He just switches up. Hey, I want to go now. And I was like, okay, all right. Okay. Give me 2 minutes. I'll make this happen.
That's
but
so
you gotta give me 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
That. Right.
I love it.
Yeah. So when I'm kind of like when I'm producing the show, it's kind of like you gotta be flexible. You gotta be super confident, because everyone is actually waiting for your directions, waiting for your constructions. So you will have to be clear. You will have to be specific. Like, I need this, make this happen, or like da-di-da-di-da. Right.
That's great. Next time I want to go and watch you guys set up. I'll just be in the back watching.
Right.
I set my little thing up there, but when I see big productions, I think, wow, it's so cool.
Right.
So cool. I love it. I love it. 2 more.
Oh, wow. Cool, so this is a very first night that we had for CFC. So most of them, the middle one in the white shirt is my boss. He's the CEO for CFC. Okay. And the rest of them are the shareholders. Like the one on the very left, he was a really famous
Jeff from Machine Huang. Yeah, of course I know Jeff. Yeah.
Oh no! I'm talking about the one on the very left.
Okay. Sorry, on the left there.
It was Heiren. He's actually the owner for the Taiwanese professional basketball league.
Oh, really?
Right. And he's one of the shareholders of CFC as well. Okay. And then like most of them are the shareholders, and they all kind of like helped me in certain way, they kind of like, let's say Heiren, he guided me with his experience how we're
Great.
going to build a professional sports league from the scratch.
Beautiful.
Like how we're going to make any kind of like regulations, and this is something you should be aware of out of his experience. And like, oh, you got to work with in a certain way, in a certain time of period, or so on and so forth. So yeah, I literally learned a lot from literally every one of them.
Invaluable, right? Invaluable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful. I got one more thing I want to touch on here, and before they close the kitchen, I want to get you some food. But what about the tattoo? We didn't even talk about this.
Right. So
Maybe,
I'm actually I own the event as well, which is the biggest tattoo convention here in Taipei City. As you can see, I'm a fan of tattooing.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the way and the methods to show your characters without saying anything.
Yeah.
Right. So and because of my background is actually from music scene, so I was like, hey, why don't we, like, I know how to plan a show, I know how to plan an event. Why don't I like kind of like organizing event is a combination of music festivals and tattoo conventions.
I love it.
So I've got like maybe 200 booths, 200 tattoo shops downstage, and at the same time, I invited all of the DJ or the rock bands or the rappers onto the stage. We just put on a music festival kind of music event, but at the same time, people are tattooing, like people are kind of like walking around and do the
another
kind of like showcase, another social event,
entertainment.
Yeah,
social
yeah,
event.
exactly. And as a promoter, as an organizer, I selfishly like put myself onto the
no, it's not selfish, man. You
onto the lineup as a DJ. And my wife was actually a dancer.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, you just put a dancing group, and I want like the hot girls.
Yeah, of course.
And to do the dancing for my DJ set.
I love that. That's so beautiful, man. I love it. Man, we could talk all day, but next time before you're going to do a tattoo event, maybe we can come and do another podcast and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But I want to get you some food before we
okay.
do you have
Thank
anything you want to
anything you suggest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say before we call it and get some food?
I think it's a huge challenge for literally everyone for us when we're trying to put out a big show like CFC or even the Taipei Arena show at the end of this year. It is a challenge for literally everyone, not just the staff or the people from UFC. I think for the general public as well. It's a challenge for literally everyone to accept a new idea, a new form of entertainment events. So I think that's crucial that we're on the same. We're aiming for the same goal. It's like we're here to make people happy in literally any way we could. So we're open-minded to literally any kinds of suggestions on the internet or any kind of like comments, or even you can like shoot us a private message to let us know like if there's anything we could even do better, or if you have any kind of like ideas. We're open-minded to accept and humbly accept any kinds of comments, and we're here to listen, and we're here to deliver.
Beautiful, man. I love it.
Cheers.
I love it. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget Taipei December 21st.
Yes.
Taipei Arena, December 21st, Taipei Arena. Keep the day open. We'll be there. Watch some